Texas Congressman Mike McCaul. Chairman, thank you for joining us. The two world superpowers need to talk. That's a good thing. But what do you make of what was accomplished, if anything, at this meeting?
You know, I think the military-to-military communications actually was important. I was with Admiral Aquilina. He's the commander of Indo-PACOM, the Pacific. And he told me I can't even pick up a phone and talk to my counterpart in China. But there's a little bit of a problem, Trey. They don't have a minister of defense in China. He has disappeared under Chairman Xi's reign, which kind of calls into question whether you can trust China on this stuff. The other thing is on the fentanyl cooperation, you know, I'm skeptical, of course, and what they did in exchange, the Biden administration removed the Institute of Forensic Science from what's called our entities list, our sanction list. What did they do? They take biometrics and genetic information from the Uyghur Muslims and transport them to the forced labor camps. So I guess, you know, you and I, Reagan, you know, talk about human rights, democracy, freedom. I'm not sure if this administration is into that.
Chairman, you have spent your career studying foreign relations, defense, homeland security. For the rest of us, what should we be looking at in the weeks and months to come to see if anything really came of this meeting other than some panda bears? What are you going to be watching?
Yeah, I like panda bears. They say don't poke the panda, but I'll tell you, what I've been looking for is, can our military talk with theirs? And, you know, will the fentanyl production go down? I'm very skeptical that's going to happen. And I believe, honestly, Trey, that the Secretary of Homeland is complicit with the deaths, with the human trafficking, with the criminal enterprise now in this country due to their failure to protect our borders.
All right, Chairman, you're a former prosecutor back in the good old days. If you had been sitting with President Xi, would you have asked him about COVID? Would you have asked him about spy balloons? You referenced spying in our country. Do you think those things were brought up, or is it, you know, better to leave that and focus on the fentanyl and what's going to happen in the future?
Well, yeah, I think that's all they could negotiate. I would talk to him about their theft of intellectual property that, quite frankly, you know, Trey, went into the building of the spy balloon. When we recovered that spy balloon that went all the way across the United States, surveilling it and our military installations, we found American-made component parts in that spy balloon. And guess what? The hypersonic weapon they have is built on the backbone of American technology. This is a real threat, is that we are exporting and selling to China technology and in addition, capital flows that are building the PLA, the Chinese military. That's what I would be really focused on, you know, if I were king for a day. But they're not going to stop their theft of intellectual property. They're very good at it. They're very good at espionage. I would talk to them about their espionage practices as well.
Chairman, you referenced Ronald Reagan. We will close with this. I think he said, trust but verify. I guess as it relates to China, it might be a good idea to listen and talk, but always verify. Mike McCaul from the great state of Texas, thank you for joining us.
No, thanks, Trey. Thanks, Trey. I would say don't trust and verify with China.